For those who lived before the internet, what was life actually like? Cosmic Cerulean answered, "You have patience for things." I was born in the 80s, and I'll bet we are the last generation to remember what it's like to send handwritten letters to friends, and the excitement of coming home every day, opening the mailbox, hoping to see if my friends have written back. Also, if we decide on Tuesday morning to meet up on Friday at 2 p.m. in front of the arcade, we'll all show up on time. BoredApe07 answered, "Born in the 90s until 2004-5-ish, we were also good with the idea of sending letters. It wasn't that common, but it was not unheard of. I remember at grade 6, around 2000, we got assigned a pen pal, and I got to exchange letters from someone from Germany. Even as late as 2010, I still had a pen pal, quite rare, but it was still happening." Rochario answered, "I have hundreds of letters from a long-distance relationship over a few years. We would write at least twice or 3 times a week. International phone calls were mega expensive." This guy answered, "I used to read books. I would sit down at 1 p.m. on a Sunday with a book and read it until it was time to eat. Then I might read it some more. There was always a stack of books about to be read, or partially finished. I bought about 4 fiction books and 1 non-fiction a month. Around 60 books each year. I donate all the ones which were subpar and keep the good ones. My house is still full of books. I now buy about 2 books a year. I last read a book in August. I don't have the patience for it." Cedar Pomegranate, Bored499 says, "Trying to go somewhere you'd never been before was an epic adventure. You had to actually look at paper maps and ask strangers for directions." Ayagudian answered, "I remember going down to London from Edinburgh for the first time with a big copy of the AZ, and, being from a city you can walk everywhere, trying to walk everywhere in London following the maps. Got completely lost. Ended up missing my train to a friend's place. Nokia ran out of battery and slept rough in Regent's Park. Big fan of Google Maps now." Forever49 answered, "This is partly why there are fewer serial murders now." Crasty Fartman answered, "It's not DNA and forensic technology?" LOL Klitston Texist answered, "Serial killers also use these advancements to aid in them not being caught. I bet there is the same, if not more, serial killers now, with much more technology-infused modus operandi." Pyumples answered, "Plus that little spot you found that only you enjoyed? Today that spot blew up on socials for some reason, and when hundreds of people visit every day." Tiptoe Only answered, "I used to do a lot of long-distance cycling to towns I'd never been to before, and had to attach a bag with a clear plastic pouch to my handlebars, where you could display a map, which was only as effective as the quality of your map, and if it wasn't clearly printed, it was a devil to read on a bumpy road where you were being shaken about all over the place. Now I just put one earbud in with Google Maps directing me through it. It's safer than it sounds. I find having something in my ear actually helps me hear traffic better because it reduces the sound of rushing air." Govimoto says, "It's not the internet, but the rise of the data harvesting and algorithm manipulation that many people's nostalgia is pushing back against." Additional Theme 283 says, "Convos were deeper. Research was harder, but more rewarding. Video games were way, way better. The library was an exciting place to go. We had to call 1-800 numbers to find showtimes for movies at the theater. I mean, honestly, just go watch Roseanne, the original show. That's what life was like." CNote01 answered, "You called for movie times?" I just looked in the paper. Peaches and Creamaddle says, "Way more peaceful, and absolutely just as fun if not more. You guys tend to think, OMG, I bet it was so boring, but nope, not at all. It was way better, healthier even. People talked. You had real friends, not a device screen nosedive." 8 answered to people talked. If you had beef with someone, you dealt with it face to face. For better or worse, it would be sorted after an in-person interaction. Peephole Rodeo says, "People were kinder, and their expectations were lower. No social media, so we were free from the judgment and opinions of others, unless we knew them IRL. All interactions, business or personal, were with a human being on the phone or in person. It was a much better time. We had hope. Temporary Pen 8779 says, everything used to have value. I remember how we used to enjoy ourselves just by walking. B-Tight answered, believe it or not, you can still go for a walk and enjoy it. In fact, I highly recommend it. Fizzy Panda Pop says, pretty chill, but super inconvenient. You'd actually have to call people's houses, wait a week for photos, and hope your friends were home. Boredom hit different, but everyone's attention span was elite. XX Fairy Spit XX answered, but it didn't feel inconvenient because we didn't know there was a better way to do it. The Lone Pig says, I think back to a friend who passed away in 2001, who never got online or used a cell phone in her life. She had physical disabilities and couldn't really leave the house without a lot of pain. Her world became so small and lonely. She would watch QVC or the Weather Channel when she was awake all night, just for the company. When my ex and I would go to a new restaurant, we would bring her a paper takeout menu so she could see what the restaurant was like. She kept a notebook by her chair full of recipes she saw on TV, funny jokes she'd heard. She read a lot, did crosswords, waited for Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune to watch with friends, and circled shows she looked forward to in the TV guide. She was one of the best humans I've ever had the privilege of knowing, but I often think of how the internet could have made her days less lonely. Amazon and Walmart delivery, telehealth appointments, FaceTime and Zoom, even mobile gaming or World of Warcraft would have made her life easier and connected her with other people. She would have loved Reddit, that's for sure. Flavortown Abbey says, I was born in '92, so the internet did technically exist, but was pretty limited in scope for the average household until I was a little older. I remember poring through general knowledge books, like almanacs. The kids' almanacs that came out every year were great, and CD-ROMs, like Encarta Encyclopedia, for hours. Trends, like Pokemon cards, would catch on only once you saw it in person. Some kid at school had it, or you saw it at the mall, or in a TV commercial. Many things felt more time-sensitive and urgent. If you had a favorite TV show, you had to be seated by the TV exactly when it aired to watch it, or make sure you had loaded a VHS to record it, or later, TiVo. Edit. Oh, and good luck finding a song you liked if you heard it randomly in a store, or on TV without the title displayed during the music video or commercial. I first heard One More Time when I saw the music video on TV when I was 5 years old, and remembered it, but didn't know how or where to find it until iTunes happened 8 or so years later. Trotskyist answered, oh man, I'd totally forgotten how amazing Shazam was when it first came out. Western Bug 2873 answered, I was born in '92. Then you're automatically disqualified from answering this question, I'd say. Onigumo Shishio answered, I remember using a little handheld tape recorder for a long time to record songs from the TV like anime openings and endings, or on like MTV certain songs. Getting my first iPod for Christmas one year was a goddamn game changer and felt like a whole new way of life.